Hi, this is Duncan from Rock and Roll Reviews, and I'm joined by John from Conan. How are you doing, sir?
Alright, Duncan, thank you.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome tonight. We were just chatting just before the interview about my surreal Conan experience. I'm pretty sure everyone has a surreal Conan experience.
There's a few stories.
But there must be. So the big news is Blood Eagle is out now.
Yep.
How was the recording on this album compared to, say, Monos, for example? Was it different? Did you go through a different process, and maybe even do you jam, or is it like, how do you record basically?
Well, when we record, we normally get the songs pretty much ready when we go into the studio, but invariably they get tweaked by Chris.
Yeah.
Who's now joined us on bass. He'll take the songs that we've got at and we think they're ready, and then he takes them in the studio and gets them to a point when they're actually Chris ready.
Yeah.
So we're actually only half as good as everyone thinks we are, because it's Chris's polish really that makes them like that. No, I'm gilding the lily there a little bit, but he's when we get to the studio, they're pretty much there. We practice together in the same studio, because it's, as I was explaining before, at the house, and basically we just jam and take an idea, jam it for a few weeks, just put layers of kind of finesse onto it, and then we get it to a point where it sounds cool, and then we get, well, with this album we just wrote 6 in the same way. Yeah. And then got them into the studio, and Chris made them into what he made them into. But we recorded for 10 days this time round. Right. So that's different to Monos, because Monos was 4 or 5 days, if I remember rightly. Right, yeah. But again, we recorded through the same amps, pretty much the same cabs, I think, and with Chris. We just had we're in a different studio. Yeah. That's the main difference.
The new album has some more kind of mid-tempo stuff, which is completely different from Monos. Is that something that you were aware of, that you wanted to try something at a slightly different pace, or was that just something organically that came along? Or
there was definitely a conscious effort, because we didn't want to write something that sounded like what we just released. Yeah. So when we started writing these tunes, more or less straight away after Monos came out, and we were coming up with ideas when we were driving to gigs in Europe in April on the tour for Monos, and it was I'd hum a riff into my phone and I'd just save it, and a month later we practiced, and that sounded cool back when we were outside fucking Dresden, because I would listen to that, and that's how it went really. We basically just got the songs together, and repeat the question again. So yeah,
more about the mid kind of pace stuff.
We got the elements of Horse of Battle Hammer, which we started to get more of a response live. So obviously when you're playing live and people will start to recognise us a bit more, they start to know what the songs were, and they'd expect a certain riff to come in. We just started to get a better reaction on certain parts than others, and we thought, well, with this new album, we should really try and get a higher ratio of those sort of bits. Yeah. So that the album's got more bits that make everyone go, at a show. And we just, that was our overall aim, is to make it a more an album that more people could get into. Yeah. Didn't want to make it any less heavy than Monos. Yeah. We wanted to make sure it was still as heavy as, and heavier, but just to try and make it so that we get really cool audience involvement when we play live, because we want to enjoy it ourselves. And you go to some gigs where there's a heavy band on and everyone just stands there nodding their head because that's how fast they play. Yeah. And we thought, well, we'd rather mix it up a bit. Yeah, definitely. Because we've already written Krull. Yeah. We've already written Sea Lord. We've already written Let's Go to Headless Hunter. Yeah. These songs which are quite slow. Why would we want to just do more songs that are just like that? So,
I mean, it's growth musically, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to just make the most of those things that we're good at. Try and make more riffy stuff. Try and get it, so that we can get people headbanging a bit more.
You're really interactive on, which, I mean, a lot of bands from your particular genre aren't as socially aware in terms of social networking, and I mean, you're really good, and your fans appreciate that. I mean, there's been following you for ages on Facebook and things like that, but you're really interactive that way. I mean, do you see that as something that's necessary in terms of that bands need to be more aware of promoting themselves, not relying on things like labels, etc. to do?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's three angles on this. First one, we used to have a manager. We have a manager now.
Yeah.
Who's the same guy who looks after Grand Magus, but he doesn't get involved in the day-to-day stuff. He'll like just help us with the big things that we need help with. He doesn't like look after our website, or he doesn't do all that shit. That's our responsibility. But we used to have a manager, and they would like charge a fee. But it's alright, we'll look after your Facebook, but all your gig fees will come to us, and we'll just give you money when you need it. And I was like, no. We ended up walking away from that. So the other element is that, like, you know, we're no one special. We're not like we're not politicians. We're in a band, and we're just the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, alright, we play in a band, and some other people don't, and they might look at us in a slightly different way than we see ourselves. But still, it's fucking really cool speaking to people online.
Yeah.
And at shows and all that, and I think it's really important from our perspective to actually be friendly towards the people who support us. Yeah. Because, you know, we wouldn't play so many shows if people didn't turn up. So I think we'd be pretty rude, really, not to repay that and be there and chat to them. Yeah. And actually, it's a lot of fun. It's a good laugh, you know, having a chat to people, and they get to know us like as regular individuals, rather than being like intimidated when you meet your gig in the band. Oh, there he is there. Look at his belly with his glasses on. I'd rather they just said, all right, how you going? Fucking high five and a hug, and it's like, yeah, good, and have a chat. And we have that with loads of people wherever we go, and that's just, I don't know, maybe that's the Liverpool in us. We're just like friendly people. And then thirdly, like, my own personal view is like, I mean, I won't name the band, but this is something that I absolutely didn't want to do. Like, there's a band who were when they started out, I would speak to them every now and again on email, buy merch and all that, and they'd respond every now and again. Like, but then the bigger they got, just stop responding. Yeah. And it's like, well, fair enough, you're busy, but like, you know, I've been chatting to you when you probably didn't, and this is like an international band. Yeah. And it's just like, I just thought it's a real shame, and I'd hate for anyone to feel that way about us. You know, like when they bought Horse of Battleham, we were all over them, but now, like, you know, now that we maybe a slightly different type of band, maybe a little bit more popular, they'll think that we don't bother responding to people. It's like, well, what the fuck is it all about? So that just pissed me off when that happened to me as a fan of a band. And now that, like, you know, we are in a position of having fans who look at us in a similar way, I just didn't want to. I just thought, absolutely not. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is it's enjoyable. I love it. Well, I love chatting to people because it's dead. It's great being in a band. It's also one of the good things about it is meeting loads of new people and having a chat about music and gear and having jokes and whatnot. Yeah. So I mean, the album, like I say, is just out. And you're kind of, I mean, is this the middle of the tour now? Or is this for the UK anyway? This is the fourth run of 10 shows. Right. Sorry, the fourth show of 10 shows. Yeah. What else do you have in the pipeline this year? Because you guys play some European festivals. I noticed that last year you were out doing some appearances and stuff like that. Is that on the cards again this year? Can you talk about that at all? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we in April we play Leicester, then Liège, and then we play Roeburn. That's like probably, you know, one of the biggest festivals we could hope to play. And then the very next day we go to Leipzig in Germany. We played a festival called Doom over Leipzig, and then we play a European tour around there. There may be one or two like all days that have been billed as festivals. Yeah. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Then in May we go away for 10 days, and we're playing a festival called St Helena Doom Fest, which is in Germany, with a couple of cool bands, like a band called The Moth playing with us, and another one called Graviator, I think from Sweden. They're touring with us for a few different shows. Excellent. And also, what's the name of them? Dope. I can't remember. There's another band who are playing with us, but maybe cut that out because I can't remember the name. Don't be embarrassed. But Belzebong from Poland. And they're doing a few shows with us on that tour. Then in June we're playing Hellfest. Oh, it's like fucking hell, you know. really, on the email, you're free to play Hellfest. I went back, sorry mate, I think you might have been sent this to Slayer or something. And he said, no, you. I said, this is John Davis and Conan. Yeah, I know, it's Matt, your booking agent. Oh, right, okay, fine. He's German, I'm Matt, his booking agent. So, yeah, so we're playing Hellfest in June. It's like, okay, that's fucking amazing. Other festivals, we've got Temples Festivals in May, festival in May, which is a UK, in England, in Bristol.
Yeah.
We were going to play Kinnell Fest, which is like a DIY festival, but we had to back out of that, unfortunately, which is the same weekend.
Right.
And something come up, we couldn't fit it in, unfortunately. In September, we're going to Australia. We've got like 10 shows booked.
That's amazing.
And we're just sorting the visas out now, so it's just we're just on fucking tenterhooks now because I've paid for the flights. And then it's like, oh right, you can't just get in on that visa now. You've got to have this 420 entertainment visa.
Right.
Or you could run the risk of being knocked back when you get to the gate.
Right.
It's like, right, okay, I can't risk that. And October, we going back to July, we're maybe playing Poland, Lithuania. We've been asked if we want to go and play Motorculture Festival in August, which is in France. Just trying to work that out in a minute. So we got festival offers all over. But yeah, European tours is we love doing that. Love going out on the road. Like, this is a good test for the van actually, because I drove Silosis to Europe last year, and it did all right. But I've had about 5 things go wrong with it since then.
All right.
Like the fucking alternator, a leaking roof. But I've had everything fixed, and even with all this gear in, it's coped really well.
Yeah.
So this will be our bus for the tour.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you guys are, I mean, you're always in Scotland. I mean, we were saying twice last year. And famously said on stage in 2012 that Bannerman's is one of your favourite venues in the entire UK. Is that right, eh?
Yeah, still is.
It still is?
Yeah, still is. When we've played there, we've always played with the same promoter, Chris. He's a great guy. We love one of the bands he's in, Jackal Head of Cards of the Dead, and he's just been ace with us all the way. I don't know whether he puts on shows anymore. I've not spoken to him for a little while, unfortunately. But yeah, Bannerman's is a great. The pub itself is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you get in the venue, and that's just fucking great as well. I mean, who wouldn't have a venue in a beer vault or something?
Yeah, it's essential. It's an old beer vault. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the perfect shape.
Yeah.
It's like a miniature version of the tunnels in Aberdeen, I suppose. And yeah, every time we've played there, we've been, we've had a great reception, even right at the very beginning when we first come up. And it was just like, some venues you really do feel at home in, and some venues you actually actively try and play in when you go on tour. Yeah. Obviously, we've come to Glasgow on this tour because we've played there a few times lately. Yeah. And we just thought, well, let's give it a little rest for a while and play again next time round. Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
The burgers are really good in there as well.
They are. The food's actually really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Burger and chips, and even though I try not to eat bread anymore because I'm allergic to wheat or something like that, I'll still eat the burgers. Yeah, really good.
That's cool. So, I mean, we've talked about Monos, and like I said, Monos was basically our website's gateway into catching your stuff. Because we started the website the same time as that album came out, and it was spectacular. The cameraman Dave's and my favourite album, best album 2012. Great. And this album's come out, and it's going to take an act of God, I think, to kick Blood Eagle off that, because it's just. Do you guys know how heavy you actually are?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, we do try. It's not. I mean, it's not an accident. We're not trying to be heavier than anyone else. Yeah. We just try and be as heavy as we can be. And obviously that's one of the things that people like about us. So we'll just keep it going, and we'll try and see if we can improve upon it next time. Yeah, I mean, the Blood Eagle's been received really well. The review you guys did was really cool, and I listened to you did a podcast, didn't you?
Yeah, did you listen to that?
Yeah, I listened to it, yeah.
The guy that did the podcast with us, Baz, if you're listening to this, Baz doesn't get it.
Is he the guy you kept saying, no, I'm not into it?
Yeah, he's old school punk, right? Okay. And he doesn't get it. And it's funny because we said on there that we genuinely think that this is your year. I think you'll find that. I think your fan base, especially because like the kind of doom scene, the sludge scene, it seems that the bands just seem to be coming out just now. They just seem to be coming everywhere.
Yeah, lots of great bands.
Loads of them. I mean, we got a chance to speak to Crowbar last week. We got a chance to speak to Kurt, and he was saying that he's even noticed that even stateside that it's all building up. That it's almost, it's like the stars have aligned for Conan at the moment. And it's funny, when we reviewed your first album, not a lot of the guys on the site really understood it. And it's funny how many people on our site now, through review base, are like, that's just a real fucking good album now. So, I mean, I'm surprised you listened to that. I just went, oh, that's fucking awesome.
I saw you put it on there, and I thought it was a podcast, and I thought, okay, well, because you said it was like the Conan edition, and I was like, well, I can't fucking, of course I'm going to listen to this, see what you say. And yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, we absolutely. It's got to that level now that, like I say, I don't think anything's going to top it this year, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Even in March, I'm happy with that.
You see, people say, no, it's my album of the year, and there's been like 4 albums out. So like, okay, fair enough. But like, yeah, it's great. I mean, we love listening to it ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's important. We love playing it live, and it's almost like the album itself fascinates us.
Yeah.
You know, like I listen to it and I think, fucking hell, I quite like that. You know, it's like, it doesn't, like, you see some artists, if you can call us artists, and they're like, what, a film that they've acted in, or a book they've read, or whatever, or music they've written, they like state openly that, oh, I don't, once I've done it, I don't fucking watch it, don't even give it a DVD. But for us, it's like, we've created this music because it's what we're into. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't we listen to it at the same time? It's like, you know, because then obviously you can then build upon it then for next time round.
Yeah. I mean, I think from listening, there's certain bands that we've reviewed in the past, and I mean, they're releasing albums almost like, not even one a year, it might be less than that, and you can hear that they probably never listened to it because it's just the same album over and over again. Yeah. And they've not, like, I'm not saying learn from their mistakes, because I wouldn't be in a position to tell anyone, you know, that, but I think that's the thing, listening to you just hear growth. In all the right ways, and all the right ways. The last question I will ask you, assuming we've got 3 minutes, fine. The last question I will ask you, and this one tends to throw people off, just because it's sprung on them. We do punk, rock, metal, and movie reviews on our website.
Okay.
So we always like to finish with a movie question.
Okay.
Do you watch many movies at all? Or?
Yeah, I do. Some new, some old.
Right. Have you seen anything recently new that you really liked, or maybe something that you didn't like that you want to talk about? See, this is
that's a difficult one. I watched Gravity.
Oh yeah,
George Clooney in it, and what's the girl's name?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Yeah, I knew it was a familiar one. That's a cool film.
Yeah.
Special effects are amazing. I guess you could probably recreate that film on a boat in the ocean, but like, I still thought it was a great film. There's a really cool film which I've been watching. I mean, I haven't just discovered it, but it's a film called Conquest by Lucio Fulci.
Oh, Fulci! I've not seen that one. I love Fulci's work as well.
Well, you should check it out. It's a sword and sorcery film made in, I think, the 80s, and it's like typical of that time. Yeah. And you can tell it's probably fair to say it was, or fair to assume it was a low-budget movie. Yeah. But some of the scenes in it are just amazing. Yeah. Like, and it's influenced the song Total Conquest. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a bit in there where the hero is given a bow and arrow by the gods, and he has to destroy this woman who has her tits out all the time. But she's got like this gold mask. Yeah. And I'm not sure what her name is, but like, she's like the enemy sort of thing. And his aim is to kill her. And he has this bow and arrow, and he pulls it back after he runs out of regular arrows. He draws a string, and he draws down power from the sun. Mm-hmm. And it glows blue, and then when he fires it, it shoots off in like fucking, well, we say 8 directions. Yeah. Because that's 1 arrow, 8 deaths. Power from the sun, you know. Yeah. That's where that's come from.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, you can get it on eBay.
Yeah,
DVD. Well, you can watch it on YouTube as well. It's on there.
I was about to say, I've just bought The Beyond, which is a Fulci film as well. Okay. Which it's incredibly gory though. If you like your zombies. So.
Oh yeah, this poor woman gets pulled in half by 4 wolf men. Poor girl. I think it was special effects. I hope so anyway. But yeah, that's a great film. Yeah, really.
I'll need to check it out, especially now that I know what influenced the song.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much, John, for your time. And Blood Eagle is out just now. Go and buy a copy.